activists from the left are complaining that Hispanics were not supposed to vote for Donald Trump because if you are a member of a minority, you must vote Democrat. They have categorized people into Native Americans, African Americans, Hispanics, gays, women of color, poor, rich, oftentimes fighting against each other, and so much concern for minorities has made us forget what a majority is. And Americans should not be fighting against each other all the time. Latin Americans in our countries prefer a Donald Trump victory because it's better that the United States gets its economy in order and helps remove Maduro or remove the Cuban or Nicaraguan dictatorship rather than permissiveness from the Democrat administrations that yield petroleum concessions to dictatorial regimes which violate human rights. It's preferable that Donald Trump kicks out dictatorships across Latin America so that Latin Americans do not feel compelled to enter illegally into the United States. The purpose of this video, filmed in Caracas, Venezuela, is to warn Americans that the illegitimate dictatorship we endure has issued a congratulations note to Donald Trump and they ask for a new beginning. So they are congratulating Trump for winning the elections when Maduro didn't win his elections. He stole them. Kamala Harris must be credited for conceding because Maduro did not concede. Many people here in Venezuela are afraid to speak, but if you ask on the streets, people have come to the conclusion that the only way to end this dictatorship is if Eric Prince and his Blackwater company, with the technological help of Elon Musk companies, come into here and with new warfare means makes an extraction of the corrupt leaders who pretend to seize this country as their private property. They give gold concessions to corrupt personalities from all over the world, and the Venezuelan people are in hardship with inflation and with very little freedoms of political expression. It is important that Americans realize that South America and Central America and the Caribbean should become domestic policy of the United States. In 1823, President James Monroe had this doctrine that America is for the Americans, and he meant all the Americas, North, South, and Central and Caribbean, what we call the Western Hemisphere. That should be domestic policy because the real enemies of the United States are in Eurasia, Iran, China, Russia, which are dictatorships. The Western civilization speaks English or Spanish mostly. I congratulate Americans for, in recent years, having learned Spanish. There are a lot of American citizens who now can communicate in Spanish, and Latin Americans have been learning English for a long time also. So language barrier should no longer be separating us. Just learn from Canada. English Canadians and French Canadians have gotten along well for a long time. All the Americas must be united together for a common strategy of a peaceful continent where free enterprise, freedom of speech are a beacon for the rest of the world. Our continent has incredible natural resources and unpopulated land that should be used for the progress of our future generations. We should no longer let Iranian regime to seize uranium from Venezuela or lithium from Bolivia, which is highly priced by China. China, Russia, and Iran are meddling into South America, and the United States must reclaim its backyard. Venezuelans are culturally like Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, patriot Americans. It is time to take away the Cuban regime propaganda that the United States is an oppressor that invades Latin American countries to make them poor. At least in the case of Venezuela, our oil industry was developed by Americans until Chavez government let it be destroyed, and neither China nor Russia nor Iran has done anything for rebuilding the Venezuelan petroleum industry, and neither has Saudi Arabia, by the way. Venezuela has a border dispute with Guyana for the Essequibo region, which has lots of natural resources, and we hope the Americas come together and Venezuela and Guyana find a way so that those resources can be mutually beneficial for both. Guyana has a rich cultural heritage of blacks and Hindus and Native Americans, and recently some Hispanics coming as Venezuelan immigration that escaped Venezuela and is pursuing a new life in Georgetown. English-speaking countries and Spanish-speaking countries must learn how to do business with each other, just as the United Kingdom and Spain have long been doing. This is Rubén Rivero. I am the president of Cine TV, School of Cinema and Television in Caracas. I work for WAO, Wayuu, Alijuna, Afrodescendientes Organizados. God bless America.